We also down below have a couple of the apps. I'm actually going to click into one of the apps. It's asking for my secure PIN. And it's asking at this point if I want to continue on with the patient that I was already in. And these are all test patients that I have in here. I am going to say yes. I do want you to see the patient details. So the nice part about this is you're able to put in as much as you can about the patient. So it's important to put in a medical record number. Make sure you put in a patient's, name, their date of birth, any other information that you feel is pertinent for that patient. I would put it all in there. And if you had forgotten something right now, you could actually add additional details. So below the add additional details, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it does say start exam, and I'm going to start my exam. Of course, I have a pelvic model here to be able to kind of work with you and show you just a little bit. So I recommend that when you are taking your photos, think about 12 inches. So I know that my arm, is probably a little bit longer, but the strap that is on the unit, if you put that up to the patient, which this is what I have right here in front of me, that actually is the strap that's stretched out and about the length that is good to be able to take a nice clear photo. So with this, a lot of times people will say to me, well, you're wearing gloves. How can you take a photo, and be touching the device? What I recommend is we do have a foot pedal, and I'm actually going to use my foot pedal now. When you are setting up and getting comfortable with the device, I will always, let my patient know I'm going to be touching them. I have my foot pedal where it's comfortable for my length of being able to reach to, and I have my device in front of me. So if I'm looking at the patient, I want to do some traction. I'm going to do my traction. With this foot pedal, I'm able to focus in closer if I need to. And then I'm also able to take the photograph. So that way I am hands-free. One of the other nice features that's on here is a hand wave. I'm able to just slide my hand down the front of the phone, and I can actually take a photo. If I want to take a look at the photos that I've already taken, I would go up into the top, take a look. Here is where I can make my annotations. Say I have a concern with an area. I can put, I'm just going to write in tear, and that will be on my annotation. So it is just one of the things that's nice with being able to see the features on this. I do have a speculum with me, and I am going to put my speculum in. So you can see there is a nice clear photo. My cervix looks like it's a little off to the side there, but it is a nice clear photo. If I had concerns that there was some petechiae and I really wanted to see, I can use my green filter. And here is where I would go to the green filter. And again, this is where I would see the vascularity that would show. I would take some photos. I always take a photo with the green light and without the green light. And back to this screen, I would remove the green filter. I do recommend having the device on the stand. It does make it easier for you to be able to use your hands And it also is more stable. Every time that you move, your camera is trying to refocus, and it just makes it more difficult for you. I am going to try and move my device even closer. And I'm on a rug, so it's a little bit more difficult, but I am going to, again, use and see if I can get myself in just a little bit more. And then I will snap another photo. I know I need to actually bring my, this will zoom in and then return back to the normal. So that then you can, again, increase as you need to. So again, having that foot pedal and also the hands-free makes it really nice to be able to take the photos without touching with your gloved hands. I am going to take this out. Again, I wouldn't be so rough, I think, on a patient. And as I'm examining the patient, and I wanted to really kind of get those photos first before I started to look at, you know, an injury on the body, which is just my lovely artwork. And then one of the other things was I was looking for a sticker. And the only one I could find was I voted. So I have a sticker on the patient, and then I wanted to show what kind of a ruler you could use, where it's nice if you put the patient's name, the date of birth. When you're done with that ruler, you can actually attach it to your chart so that then if it goes to court, everything is right there. So it's always nice to have, it's in all your photos, and then you can refer to it on the chart. But I'm going to go back to my lovely injury over here. And when taking photographs, they always want you to do the rule of 3. So you're going to want to do away, and you're going to want that body image. So here is where a lot of times I feel I need to take off the lens. And what I'm going to do is just kind of get some photos right here. I also always want to make sure that I have a photo with the ruler. And then once you turn the light off, you can see that you have a different look to that. So you always want to make sure that you're using good lighting. You know, I'm not in a hospital room right now, so I don't have those bright lights coming down on me. So what I would always recommend is using a blue chucks or something that would calm the lights down from the emergency department. But also in using your rulers, it's really important to be able to determine colors. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're not distorting a color. And I think that that's what the nice part is you can use the light, you can not use the light. So take a couple of photos of each. All right. So I'm curious, do we want to ask some questions, or are there any questions that anybody has for me at this moment?
I see there is a question in our Q&A. Yeah, there are quite a few questions.
Sure.
Rachel, would you like to read them for Nancy, maybe?
Absolutely. So first question here, what is the green filter called? Got a couple.
So on here, it's called a green filter. But it does, the main reason really for it is to be able to help with vascularization. So if you're looking at any area on the body where there could be bruising, and I never want anybody to use any piece of equipment to do diagnosing, but it is an assistance and it enhances your photos. But always make sure to take a photo of without it and with it.
All right, and then we do have a question. Nancy, do you need to type annotations or can you speak them to the EVA system?
I type, I haven't spoken into it at all. I'm not sure if that is a function.
No, we do not currently have a talk to text feature. And then I have a question here. Can you please demonstrate how you unscrew the lens?
Definitely. I can do that. And just to warn you that it just may be a little noisy, but the whole lens is what actually unscrews. I know a lot of times people try to unscrew the end of it, but it's really the whole lens. And it does seem like it takes a while because there is a good screw on there. So one of the things that you will notice is everything is inverted when the lens is actually taken off. So on this app, you would go up to the wheel, hit the wheel, and take off or put it actually into camera mode. And then that is how you're going to be able to photograph. So with me, a lot of times I use this on my smaller, my pediatric patients, just because I can't get that distance with the copiscope. So what I do is I may use this more for the children. You're able to do your traction. Again, able to use the foot pedal to take your photos. But that is how you would unscrew the lens.
Great, and then another, I have quite a few questions here, Nancy.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Perfect. So Julia would like to see the pedal and how do you use the blue? I'm sorry, I don't know what that word is, and where do you place it?
All right, so I'm going to just screw this lens back in. And like I said, it does take a while. So the foot pedal is actually a Bluetooth foot pedal. It is a page turner that they use for music lessons. So what's nice about it is this actually has two sides, and I'll hold it up and show it to you. So this has two sides. So one side is actually for us to be able to press, to be able to zoom in and out. And the other one is for us to be able to take the photo.
And then how are the photos stored? I imagine we're probably going to get to that in a minute. So we'll get, do you want to skip that one and move on to the next one?
Sure, that sounds good.
Perfect. Hi, Nancy, thank you. What kind of stand do you use?
All right, so I actually have the stand that MobileODT sends to us, and there's a couple of things that I'm going to raise this up, so hopefully we can get this into view. So the things that I always like to stress to everybody is making sure that you screw in the top piece into the copiscope and then attach into the stand. The nice part about this stand is you're able to then tip, because a lot of times you could go a little bit higher than the patient and then you're looking down, which is a nice feature to be able to do. The other part is you're able to raise and lower the stand if you need to.
And then can you video and take pictures at the same time? I can answer this. Yes, you can. And then will you be going into showing bruises? Does it enhance bruising? And do you have a sample photo?
You know, I actually was looking everywhere to try and find a photo to be able to put on the mannequin here for a bruise. And I don't even have a bruise on myself right now that I could show you. But normally what I do with bruises is, again, I'll take a photo with the natural light. I will then use the green light to be able to see more of what the bruising looks like under the green light.
And then I have, what about blurry photos? Our examiners are getting a lot of blurry photos.
The one thing I can probably say about the blurry is you need to give it a chance to take the photo and to focus. If I'm moving, if I don't have it on a stand and I'm moving around, the camera is trying to focus and it can't until you're still. So one of the other ways to use this is to use the strap. And I'll tell you, I use it just to be able to steady if I'm using, you know, this for a body injury. I want to be able to steady it by using the strap. And, you know, like I said, the best way is on the stand, but the strap also gives you that support.
Right. And then where do you purchase the ruler from?
I know that a lot of my stuff comes from Arrowhead.
Great. Oh, hands-free annotations. We've already covered that. We don't do talk to text. Oh, yep. A lot of people are struggling with blurry and poor quality photos. Can you talk while doing an exam if you are filming?
Yes, I actually did a exam the other day where we did videotape and we tested to see if we heard sound because we did not want to pick up a lot of sound in the room. So we actually were able to play it back, take our photos without getting sound.
And then, oh, pictures stored. We're going to get to that in a minute. Do you have a list of standard photos you always take?
Yes, I am somebody who likes to stay, I'm very standard. I will look at a patient from head to toe and I tell them that every time. And I will start at the head and go down one side and back up the other side because I do like my standard and that way I don't get confused with how I'm taking photos or what photo of the injury that I'm looking at. And that's one of the reasons why too, when you're looking at a bruise on the arm, you want to make sure you have it far enough away so that you know what body part you are looking at. So that's the rule of 3. So you always want to take it away from there, and then you want to get closer and take that photo, and then get even closer and use your ruler. So you want to make sure that you get those 3 shots of each injury. And then that way, if you stay in a routine, you'll be able to know what photos and what injuries you were looking at.
Great. And then I have 2 foot pedal questions. One, does a foot pedal come with the system? I'll answer that. That is a yes. And so there isn't any way to zoom out using the pedal, only zoom in. And
so if you are zooming and right now I am zooming in, I would wind up going all as zoom in as I can, and then it will go right back. So it's just a matter of I'm just hitting that foot pedal a couple of times to get it to go back to zooming out.
Great. And then is it essentially an iPhone combined with a unit lens and stand? I can answer this one real quick, Nancy. Yes, it is actually an Android device. with all phone capabilities removed. So essentially, it's just a platform in order to run the application. Are you doing a demo with the blue? I'm not sure how to pronounce this word, Nancy.
Holodyne?
CHUX?
Oh, with the chucks. Okay.
With the chucks. Okay. All right. That is how you say it. All right.
I do not have a chucks with me. But basically I use one of the disposable chucks that I would put under the body. So if I'm looking at a bruise on the arm, and in the emergency department, you've got the bright lights, you've got the white sheets, everything around you is white, and then you're trying to take a photo. It just sometimes is too much for the photo. So with that blue chucks underneath your arm, you know, or the body part that you're trying to get a photo of, it helps to calm the color down a little bit.
And then here's a request. Can you show us how to do the video and photo at the same time?
Okay. So right now you can see my screen. There is a video that is right down below that I am on. I'm going to start. So like a lot of times this is nice for children, because if you're, you know, half the time your child is moving all over, and so you're trying to obtain those photos. So you may be having that child going back and forth, and you want to be able to get those good photos. This is one way to definitely do it with the children.
Okay. And then is this similar to the Cortex flow?
I've never used the Cortex flow.
Does a green light help to document bruising on dark pigmented individuals for body photos? Our photos look fine until we try to save them and then they look pixelated.
Okay, yes, it will be able to show on darker skin. There is no doubt about it. It will. The pixel, I'm not sure why, you know, with storing them, why they're distorted. I don't know if there's any tips for when you're storing them.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you directly, Autumn, and see if there's an issue. Let's see. Do you do the far away photo second or first?
So I always start far away first. And then we'll get closer to the patient. It's just one of the ways that, you know, like I said, I try to do things exactly the same way each time. So that is how I would do it. I always do away. I think it's from years of doing 35mm films when we had to take the first photo of the patient and then end, you know, with a picture of the patient. I think it's important to get overall photos of what your patient looks like in front of you at that time. And I always start my photos off with a name band photo. And then at the end, I take another photo of the armband, so that way I know I'm started and I'm completed.
Perfect. And I think that is all the questions for you, Nancy. I see quite a few in the chat that I'm going to go ahead and answer directly.
Okay.
So I think you can go ahead and keep going.
Yeah. All right. So really the most important things, like I said, is so the strap is attached. I know that somebody had asked if the strap came with the unit, and it is attached to it. But this is what I use a lot of times for my distance. So I might even stretch it out to the patient just to kind of see where I am and where I should start. So if I stretch it out to the patient, I'm right around here. So this is where I want to be. And a lot of times too, people will say to me, I can't get it to focus right. I can't get it to focus right. And they seem to go backwards. They seem to feel like they need to back up to make it, focus better. When really, if you move it closer, you'll wind up focusing so much better. So I just always, want that people to know that don't be afraid to get closer to the patient to be able to take these photos. And it's one of the things that I like about it is the fact that I'm able to have it in front of me. I can move it right up. And again, I kind of just move things around, but this is always I think the hardest part for everybody. And if you can set up the height of what you're going to need before the patient even gets into the stirrups, it's much more comfortable for you and the patient. So again, it's adjusting to how you, your comfort level and everything with the patient. Using your foot pedal to be able to take your photos and also be able, I am actually still on, I was on video still. This is one thing, and I didn't know if you could see this, but I'm going to just show, a lot of times this will show up on your keyboard when you seem to want to put something there. And so if you hold it with your finger and slide it up and over, that will actually go away. But what I do like about it is the fact that I am able to do my traction, and I'm not, I can see right in what I'm doing. I did a presentation not that long ago, and somebody said to me it was actually nicer to be able to look in the lens to see what they were looking at and then taking the photos. So then again, you're going to be doing your traction, and you can focus in and out. You can take your photos. All right. And a couple other little tips that I know that when I'm using my speculum, and if the walls of the speculum or the vaginal walls kind of keep closing in on you, no matter what size speculum you're using, you can put a condom on it so that it holds back the walls a little bit better. And I always tell my patients, you're going to hear and you're going to feel those clicks, especially on those disposable speculums. It's also good when you're doing a balloon catheter and you want to be able to, really be able to see everything. A lot of times you're holding the balloon kind of still, and trying to turn it from side to side. It's also nice to be able to use that foot pedal to be able to capture those photos as you're moving that Foley catheter around. Okay. I know so my cervical os, and again, because it is a mannequin, the this cervical os is not popping right into what you would need. A lot of times you're able to put in the speculum. You may just need to give just a little movement, and your cervical os will, come right into view. All right. So now if we wanted to look at the photos that we have, we're going to be able to swipe through. We can look at our videos. We can look at our photos. You have me taking photos of things when I was moving the light off and on. My lovely artwork, which I was just kind of trying to show different colors and how that would look without the ruler. And again, here is where we would be able to make an annotation. So if there was something that we saw that we needed to add onto here, we would be able to do this. We'd be able to take a look at the video. Go to the other video. And in the portal is where you would be able to capture the photos. I have taken a couple of videos that didn't have anything, so. I'm going to go back out of this and I'm going to go into the other app. Just in case you are using the older app. And again, anything that I have in here is all test stuff. I have no patient information, but I would add a new patient and I would put in all of the information that is needed, save details, and go to the camera. One of the differences in this app is if I needed to invert the camera, there's 3 dots. I'm going to put it into copiscope mode. I still have my hands free, so I'm able to do that. I'm still able to use my foot pedal. Everything is exactly the same with all of that. If I need to look at my images, I would click on images. And here is where I would make my decisions. I would save my photos. And again, I'm going to just try and get it a little bit closer. I'm going to bring it down more. And I'm going to swoop it up. And again, it really is positioning and how comfortable and how close, you get to the patient. And you don't have to press keep if you are doing the hands free and you don't want to touch the screen and it comes up keep. If you just wait a second, it will automatically keep it. So again, if we go to images, all the photos are there. And again, I'm just going to move these 2 up so that you can see them better on the screen. So those are the 2 different apps that are on the system. Go back into the new one. And again, this is where you're able to put in as much information as you should. I always recommend putting in as much as you possibly can. and start exam. And there are times where you'll take photos. I know that when we use our telesafe, we may take photos and then, our body images, and then we go back to sharing screen and seeing each other so that we can continue to talk with the patient before we get to the genital exam. Any other questions at this point?
1 second. Let me see. Let's go here. For documentation, do you log every photo onto paper or do you make a reference note?
So I do. In our documentation on the chart, we document our photos. I also document on a body image photo number with what I'm looking at on body images in the paper documentation.
And I believe that is it for now. Unless anybody else has any questions, please feel free to use the chat or the Q&A.
And, it's always interesting too, because no matter what photo you have, if you enlarge it so much, it will distort it. So I always tell everybody, get your close-up photo that you need to. You can always enlarge a little bit after, but, always try to get that perfect photo first. Sometimes if you're not taking a good photo to begin with and then trying to enlarge it, it doesn't help it. So try and get as close as you possibly can first.
And then I have a question. What is the red filter for?
I do not have a red filter.
You don't use that, Nancy, I don't think. So I have some people that use this and some that don't. So what it does is it actually will enhance some bruising. We use it a lot, actually. We have a number of people that use it for strangulation cases. I don't think we have, I don't know if you have we don't have a good image of that to show you, but it'll actually enhance the redness and bruising. Oh, and I just had a question about demonstrating enhancing a bruise. We could definitely try to do that. Please demo how to do far away pics for injuries.
All right. So one of the ways that I would do that is I'm going to take it off of the stand. I would use my strap so that I do have that, where I'm a little still with taking a photo. So if I need to get a photo of an injury, if I'm doing a far away shot, I may need to undo my lens, which I'm going to do. And again, or you can take it out of the device. So as you can see, everything is inverted. I'm going to go up and I'm going to put it into camera mode. So here's where I'm able to actually see what body part I'm looking at. So, there is a leg. So you can see it with me moving how blurry it will make the photo. So it's really a matter of making sure you're holding still, taking your photo. I'm going to then come closer to my photo. And then I'm going to make sure that I have And also, if I took off the light, you would see the difference. And even with my moving, like I said, it's going to, will make a difference. If I want to put it on to the stand and take my images, you're going to find that it's going to be that little bit better for you because it is going to be more stable. Now I'm going to put the light back on. And you can definitely see how much clearer that is because it's not moving. Okay. So that is how I would, you know, take my body images. Again, if I'm working with a child, a lot of times that's what I'll have that lens out. It makes it easier for me to get closer and with a lot of movement that the child is doing.
I think that is all for now. Yes, I think that's all our questions for right now, Nancy.
All right. And that's the thing is, you know, I mean, I feel sometimes like I just use it. I'm comfortable with using it. And I don't mind answering questions at all about how I use it to make it better. One of the things I just saw that Carolyn mentioned, a lot of times with the child too, and sometimes with my adult patients, I'd like them to be involved in their own care. And one of the ways that I do that in the CAC is I give the child the foot pedal and I let them click the foot pedal to take the pictures. And they feel as if they're involved. And then I'll show them what their photos look like. Because I think it's important sometimes for them to see what their bodies look like. And I know that even adults, you know, it's important for them to see that they're okay. And so I always like to show, you know, ask my patient, do you want to see what the photos look like? And I didn't know, Rachel, if you wanted to go into the portal.
Yeah, I think we can do. Yeah, I think we could do a brief overview and actually just have a quick question here. What is the storage capacity and how many cases can be stored on the system? So I can answer that real quick, Nancy, while you're getting into the portal. So the storage capacity is actually unlimited. On the device itself, it is limited, but all the images are actually stored in an online portal, and Nancy's going to be showing that in just a moment. So that is unlimited. And in the system itself will actually archive your cases after, I think it's 24 hours. So you won't have a whole bunch of exams stored directly on the EVA device. And then I've got another one here, Nancy. Are you in the habit of taking at least one picture of each injury that includes the face of the patient?
I do. I do take photos of the patients. I do make sure to include face, you know, if it is on the face. I know that sometimes people don't feel comfortable with, you know, having a patient's face, but I do. I actually take a whole photo of what my patient looks like sitting on my stretcher in front of me, because I think it's important to see what the patient looks like in front of you, and then also what the patient may look like you know, 2 years down the road is not going to look like that. And I think it's important for, you know, if it goes to court, for them to see what your patient looks like. One of the things too that I always recommend doing is if you see debris on a patient or in their hair, take a photo of it before you remove it, because I think it's important to be able to have that photo to say, this is where I got that blade of grass from, or this is what the patient's hair looked like, you know, before you remove the debris to put into the evidence kit. I think it's important to have that. And right now I am at the preparing the zip file here, so. And there are a couple of different ways. I know that some of the locations download them onto a computer and then onto an SD card. But the portal really is a nice way to be able to send those photos, you know, to the portal, and then allowing access to who you need to for those photos. It's much more secure. And I think what I did was I actually set it to a zip to send to a computer. So I'm not going to have it to get into the portal. So I'm not sure, Rachel, if you have any way of looking at what a portal looks like, or.
Yes, do you want to do that on your computer? Are you able to share your computer screen?
What? Let me see.
I think if we stop that share, hold on.
Hmm. I apologize. I did not have this part set up, so.
Not a problem. We have a couple questions here. How secure is the portal, and how do we know the photos haven't been accessed by someone? I can answer that a little bit. Angie, the portal is really secure. We can definitely send you over our IT security information. The photos can only be accessed by those who have the password and username. And I'd be happy to share a little bit more information about that as well. But they can't be just, you can't just enter the portal with any passcode or anything like that. You have to have access to that specific account. And then the MobileODT tech team does not have access to any of these photos. how many people can access the portal. So we do not have a limit on the number right now. So that is unlimited. Let's see here. Oh, we've got some more here. Does this camera utilize a ring light? No, it does not have a ring light on it. It does have an LED light on it though. And then how do you get the photos from the EVA system to the hospital register or EMR system? So actually Nancy is going to show us the portal in just a second. And you can actually download the images from the portal to the, and then upload them into the EMR system. See here, I think. And yes, there is going to be, this webinar is being recorded. I have that question. And then I do have somebody asking about using a guest Wi-Fi network where the exam room is located. Typically, we do recommend using a Wi-Fi network with a password. One way that you can kind of get around this is you can actually disconnect from the Wi-Fi while you're doing the examination and then take the EVA system into the room where you do have access to the password protected Wi-Fi and then it'll upload the examination after that. So you don't need Wi-Fi in order to start your examination. Oh, and Nancy, would you like me to share the portal? I'm happy to share my screen.
If you could, quick. If you could.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me exit here. Oh, Nancy, can you stop your screen share?
Sure.
On the EVA system. All right, perfect. And here we are. And Nancy, do you want to talk through this while I manipulate it?
Sure. So when I was saying earlier that it's really important for you to make sure that the patient's name and, date of birth and contact number and his MR numbers are important, because you can see on the first screen, that's what's really going to be there for you to follow up with that patient. So when you go to the portal, you're able to click onto the patient.
Oh, and Nancy, I apologize. This is for colposcopy. Let me find a sane one. Colposcopy, apologize.
No problem.
Oh, colposcopy. All right, here we go.
So again, here's where you're able to see all the information that you put in. Your clinical impressions are put in here.
And you can actually edit them right here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll scroll down. Apologies, I don't have great photos here.
Yeah. Yes, that's actually using the green filter though.
You can see
but
that.
Here's where you would be able to add an annotation if you didn't, and this is nice where if you're doing peer reviews, and you do have someone looking at the photos with you, they can put in their annotation.
You can continue to add those. You can also hide them. And is there anything else that you wanted to highlight here, Nancy?
Well, I think that the most important thing is to be able to, like I said, share that information.
So you are able to download the exam here. And you can download that in two different ways. You can just download the PDF. You can also download a full PDF format as well as the images separately. So I'll go ahead and do that. And to make this secure, we do have a PIN code that must be entered in order to access this. So when we download the exam, this is what you'll see. And then, oh, I apologize. I just got a new computer today. So it is not happy with me. I don't have a zip file downloaded. So let me just download just the PDF. I apologize. Okay. And then you'll see that it is password protected. And then this is able to be downloaded and shared with whoever you need to share it with. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover in the portal, Nancy?
No, I was going to say, I think that's the most important thing is being able to share it. Because I know that when district attorneys' offices are asking, you know, you want to be able to make sure that they can get the information that they need.
Perfect. So I'm going to stop this share here and we can go over some questions. If anybody has any final questions here. And let me just see.
So one question about being able to share all of the patients, or can you just share one patient? And it's that one patient that you would be sharing. It would not be all of the patients that are on your list.
Any other questions before we end? When you download the images, they will not be downloaded in the order that the pictures were taken. I'm not sure if I'm guessing you've had issues with that before. Nancy, are you having issues with images not being downloaded in the order that they were taken?
They don't always show up in the order that they are taken when you're downloading them.
Okay.
That's why, again, it's important to know what photo you're taking, you know, of the patient. And if you're doing the 3, you want to be able, you know, to have left, right in your photo also.
I have a question here. How do you share with the district attorney?
By allowing them that access to the patient and downloading like we just did.
Right. So it looks like we have gone to 3:15. See, a lot of people are heading out now. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the webinar. Thank you so much, Nancy. We really appreciated it. And we just wanted to let you know that we are having a special promotion for those who attended the webinar and are interested in the EVA system. Please feel free to contact me. There will be an automatic email being sent out after this, thanking you for your attendance, and you can reach me there. Nancy, if you want to go to the last slide, it also has my name and email and phone number that you can contact me if you have any questions. Also, if anybody is having any support issues, please feel free to reach out to me and I can connect you with our support team. You can also reach out to our support team at support@mobileodt.com. And we'll get some of those. I know we had a bunch of people with blurry photos issues. So if you could reach out to us, we can definitely go ahead and get that taken care of. So thank you everyone again, and please reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Rachel. Goodbye.
Thank you.